Hey everyone, this is Glorak, and I'd love to welcome you to our first official episode of Glorak Tube, where we bring you tips, tricks, and hints from anywhere from battle pets to mythic dungeons. Today's episode, we're focusing on tricks that you can do right now to get ready for Battle for Azeroth. And honestly, you've been keeping those pets hidden away for some time. It's time to give them some love. Now, if your goal is to become the Pokemon Master, I don't know if I can quite help with that, but at least I can give you some tips and tricks that you can ensure will work to get you at a better spot and hopefully make life a lot easier than it was for even when I first started out. Now, the first tip I'd love to share with you is that this is your game. And all of the guides and strategies out there are going to tell you to do things a certain way. Those guides, those strategies have a great place and they help out a lot, but ultimately this is your money that you're spending. Now, you might love a battle pet because it took you days and days and days to go find it. It might have taken you even months. You might like a pet just because. Now, most of those guides, they might ignore most of that stuff. And one of my favorite battle pets that I have is Argy. He looks freaking awesome on the first part, but the second part, his abilities are pretty useful. And he is purchased through the in-game shop. And so what I honestly would do is just wait until one of those famous Blizzard sales go on, because you can get them at a pretty reasonable price. Now, the highlight of Argy is that, he does have some strong abilities like Headbutt and Chew, which both do some significant damage with some side effects along the way, like a chance to stun. He also has Stampede, which is going to make the other team take double damage for 2 rounds. That's pretty significant if you can pair it with a better ability. But the reason why I think Argy is just so nice to have is because he has an ability called Gift of the Naru. And not many pets, if any other pets, have this, but it simply restores health. And that might seem like an okay thing, but considering that Argy himself is got increased health, has increased speed, with that ability, he can oftentimes outlast an entire team of pets, and really just make your life a lot easier. And since he is a beast, he does extra damage if he's low health. And so there's a bonus as well. Now, the second tip that I think you really should consider is, even though guides are limiting and they're always going to say what they think is the best, I think you should at least find one that you find really useful. The one that I prefer is called Zufu's Pet Guides, and here's the website. I'll post a link in the comments below. But the really nice thing about Zufu's Guides is that he gives information about multiple things. It's not just one, it's not just two, it's every expansion, it's every area, it's every possible scenario. Now, do all the strategies always work? No. Some of them are pretty luck-based, some of them aren't always tested, but it gives you a really good idea of what do I need to level up right now. What battle pet am I missing that is just making this impossible to do? Now, finding the right pet, finding the pet for you is a great thing to do, but there are certain pets that are better than others. And I think there are really 5 pets that can simply make your life a lot easier. Now, Anubisith Idol is one of these pets. He drops an Encourage off of one of the first bosses, and so he's relatively easy to farm. He can be on the auction house. If a friend has him, you can ask him, whatever. But his first tree of abilities in Crush, Sandstorm, and Deflection make him almost unkillable. And I don't just say that either. Since Deflection always goes first, you can block any of those big damaging abilities. Sandstorm, well, if they can't hit you, you're going to eventually win. And Crush is a nice ability, or you can take Demolish. Now, most guides are going to say exactly what I've said, but from my personal experience, you're going to run into many situations where he's simply the best. Another pet that you might consider getting is Chrominius. Now, he drops out of Blackwind Lair, and so yes, he is another dungeon-specific pet that might not drop the first time. However, on the auction house, he's usually pretty cheap. But if you have persistence, which you need for pet battles, you will get him eventually. Now, he's a dragon, so he's going to do more damage as he deals them more damage. But his two nice abilities are Howl and Surge of Power. Now, this combination of abilities can do upwards of 3,000 damage if you pair it with something else. And he's really just a nice pet to have, especially since he is a guardian with increased health. The third pet that I think you should really invest in early on is the Clockwork Gnome. You can get him from archaeology, and so maybe something else to collect or to get more achievements, or simply to level up another profession. But his base abilities, Build Turret, Repair, and Metal Fist, are all solid choices. Now, Build Turret can go perfectly with something like Howl or Stampede, where they take increased damage for every attack. And if you're attacking a beast, this can decimate them in one turn. And he's simply a fast pet. So if he's speed, he's usually going to go first. And pair that with Repair and coming back to life, and you've got a pretty solid choice on your hand. The next pet that I really do recommend is one of the new hatchlings that they released in Legion. You have the Bloodgazer, the Direbeak, the Snowfeather, and the Sharp Talon. They all have pretty similar abilities, but as you can see, one might have Reckless Strike, one might have Iron Skin, and it kind of just changes a little bit here and there. Is there the best? I personally like the Direbeak for the Iron Skin or the Bloodgazer for the increased damage from Valkasaur's Swarm. But they're all good pets. They're fast, they have decent amount of health, and they can really pump out the damage, especially if they come in late in the fight. And the final pet that I think you should really consider finding is the Nexus Whelpling. Now, is he the best dragon? No. But is he one of the more accessible dragons? I think so. Now, you can get a health, a power, or a speed one, and so he's got a little bit of diversity there. But with Wild Magic, which makes him take more damage, Arcane Storm, which makes it so they can't swap out, and Mana Surge, which just does heavy, heavy damage, he's a pretty solid choice, especially since flying pets deal less damage to dragons, and his abilities all do more to flying. Now, these aren't the best 5 pets out there. These aren't the easiest 5 pets to get, but I think they're really going to help out your roster early on in your journey. Now, we've talked about the pets. We've talked about how do you get these different things, and no pet trainer is a pro without the right add-ons. Now, add-ons aren't going to make it do it for you, but it's going to make your life a lot easier. Now, some of my favorite add-ons that I have are Pet Tracker, Pokemon Trainer, and Pet Journal Enhanced. Now, Pet Journal Enhanced is going to allow you to filter out different kinds of pets, different kinds of abilities, in a way that the Blizzard UI simply does not allow for. And it's super nice if you're trying to sort from highest stat or quantity, if you want to sell those extra pets, or whatever it might be. The pet battle teams, what it allows you to do is create a team, and it's going to auto-equip it for you, which is a pretty nice addition. Now, Pokemon Trainer and Pokemon Battler, what those allow you to do is, once I load up combat, you'll see I have things on the left and things on the right, which both tells me if my pets are faster, if they take more damage, if they take less damage, and just a host of different things. And then I also have at the bottom just the other monsters' abilities. Now, it tells me when they're on cooldown, it tells me how long the cooldown is, and so it's a pretty nice way to keep track of what can they do to me and what can I do to them. Now, there are tons of add-ons that you can play around with, and I've only shown you 3 of them, but those are just 3 that I think are more useful than maybe some of the others. Now, one of my favorite things to do is to find the classes that have the best or coolest abilities. And in Legion, we get the auto-complete missions. Now, this might seem like kind of a maybe not that good of a thing for battle pets, but looking at the map, you can definitely see there's tons of world quests. And typically, there's going to be one for battle pets. Now, they don't always give battle pet charms. This one right now gives bandages. But if we look and there is a battle pet charm one up, you simply auto-complete it. Now, why that's so awesome is you can see this character has 12, but my main has 181. Now, if you are auto-completing on 4 to 5 characters, you're going to roughly get 100 charms a day. This one was only 12, so it's not that great, but I've seen anywhere from 18 to 20. And the more you do that, the easier this is, because Sarah here sells instant level 25 stones. So one of the best ways to get caught up right now in Legion is to auto-complete those missions. If you remember Warlords for Draenor, they did have a similar system with the battle pet charms. They heavily nerfed it to the ground once Legion came out. My recommendation, hit on this now, hit on this early, and you're going to kind of get an opportunity to level up a lot of pets. And there's a lot of them. Right now, you can see I have 877. Barely half of those are even at max level. So there's tons of things that you can do. Well, that's all I have for you today. I really thank you for listening, and if you like it, share it with your friends. Come to twitch.tv/Glorak or simply like the YouTube. Again, thank you for coming, and I hope to see you next time. Next week, it's 7 o'clock on Thursday, Central Time. We're going to have a brief guide on how to get the pet Una. And the beautiful thing about Una is that she changes forms. Now, you might not know anything about her. You might not know too much. But in order to get her like this, you need to show up next week, and I'll show you how to do that. Thank you.